So without further ado, it would be a huge pleasure to introduce Dietmar, and he's come all the way from California. If you've got your notes in front of you, you can read his incredibly amazing biography of the things he's done, and he's now going to talk to us about life, consciousness, and spirituality, and many other things. So, Dietmar, over to you.
Thank you, Joe, for that nice introduction. I'd like to thank Joe and Norma for inviting me to this conference. Special appreciation due to Professor Laszlo. Thank you, Erwin. Thank you, Erwin, for your lifelong humanitarian efforts to make this world a better place. And making these meetings possible. So let me thank all of you for coming here in this beautiful place in Tuscany to exchange ideas and make those productive. I'd like to mention that I spent most of my active life working in the research and development area in the aerospace fields. Only later in my life, after I retired, I got more interested in spirituality and in the mystery of life itself. At least in my own mind, I was then able to bridge the chasm that still exists between religion and science, as you will see from the presentation. Note that I call my presentation philosophical aspects of consciousness rather than scientific aspects. And there's a reason for that. The path of the scientist is the search for knowledge and truth. The spiritual path is the search for wisdom and meaning. A philosophical approach can accommodate both the scientific and the spiritual pathways. Note also that there is a monumental difference between knowledge and wisdom. We should seek to acquire both, because wisdom without knowledge is lame, and knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. A typical example is when you look at the nuclear energy fields and developments that are being abused to build bigger and better killing machines. Consciousness is non-physical. Consciousness has no physical properties, like temperature, pressure, mass, or electric charge. Hence, physical sciences alone cannot explain consciousness because they cannot detect or measure it with physical instruments, and because consciousness cannot be generated by physical processes. Looking at consciousness in the brain is like looking for wisdom under the sofa. A brain is not needed for consciousness to exist. We know that plants, for instance, are conscious without a brain. But consciousness is more than just an abstract idea. It seems to have an existence on its own. Now, before I go on with my presentation, let me clarify what I mean by consciousness. There are at least two different interpretations of the word. One is related to conscience and morality, knowing right from wrong. It is often used in reference to a group consciousness And although it is a very important issue, it is not what I will be talking about. The other meaning refers to the highly subjective self-awareness of being, of existing as a unique, autonomous, living being that can perceive, experience, and interact with its environment. This is the consciousness we live in. The consciousness that gives us free will and allows us to evolve personally, physically, and spiritually. This will be the subject of my presentation. Now, excuse me for reading from my notes, but I don't want to be diverted into discussions. I have a lot of material here to discuss. To get a better understanding of what consciousness is, let us reflect on what it is intimately connected with. So we have spirit, life, and consciousness are inseparable. Wherever spirit is, there is life. Wherever life is, there is consciousness. And wherever consciousness is, there are life and spirit. Spirit actually can be considered the source of life and consciousness. Spirit is the source of all that is. But you may still ask, what is spirit? What is life? And what is consciousness? And I will try to shed some light on this. Hope you may agree. But let us first focus on the subjective interrelationships of spirit, life, and consciousness. Later, we can explore the objective relationships between the spirit world and the physical universe. Let's consider life to start with. The existence of life cannot be denied. Life is. You must admit that life is a fundamental reality. And it simply is and has been since the beginning of time. Life is dynamic and it can evolve. Thus, there must also be a life force, a life energy, and a life power. That power of life originates in the spirit realm. Spirit is forever creative. We generally are just not aware of it. Spirit can create matter, but matter cannot create spirit. Spirit can heal bodily disharmonies and even alter physical events. Spirit can guide your life experiences by devising appropriate synchronicities, as proposed by Carl Jung. Your eternal being, your divine self, is spirit. You do not have a spirit. You are a spirit having a physical experience in your physical body during this physical lifetime. All life forms are spirit fragments of the Omniversal Spirit of Creation, the source of all that is. Hence, all life on this planet, and probably in the cosmos, is spiritually interconnected. I mentioned the spirit of creation. I call it just simply creation with a capital C, or spirit with a capital S. You may call it God with a capital G, and some people may call it Brahman, if you are from India. Creation is omnipotent, which includes being omnipresent and omniscient. Nothing exists or happens outside of the consciousness of creation. I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind. The power of spirit, which is also in all of us, is the life force, or prana in Hindu philosophy. Now, spirit naturally aspires to harmony, wisdom, and to perfection. And the ultimate expression of harmony is life. You live in your consciousness. Your true home is in your spiritual consciousness. And you choose your personality. I believe the discussions about choosing your personality to the psychologist, because you are not born with it, you determine it. Note that I'm referring to a spiritual consciousness. It is most important to make this distinction in order to explain our true beingness and also to understand extrasensory experiences and our divine connections, cosmic connections. The spiritual consciousness functions quite differently from the everyday physical awareness that the medical profession and the sciences deal with. Our spiritual consciousness has nothing to do with quantum physics, and it is not information related. We may be able to craft artificial intelligence, but computer technology and robotical machines will never resonate with spirit and bring true consciousness for life into being. Here's a comparison between the two types of consciousness. The physical awareness, which you may identify with your ego or your mind, depends on your central nervous system and your physical senses. It shuts down during sleep. It can be altered by drugs, brain damage, or other things, and it can be made comatose. It extinguishes at death, at physical death. And it communicates by linear thought patterns and language. In contrast, your spiritual consciousness is what you identify with yourself, with your being. It is a true independent home of beingness. It is always awake and it never sleeps. It is unaltered by drugs, brain damage, and cannot be anesthetized. It is indestructible and survives death. And it communicates holistically by intuition, impulses, and entire images. If we do not recognize our spiritual nature, the materialistic viewpoint of the human psyche and of consciousness would schematically look like the following graph. Here we have the body and the brain at the top, and associated with our mind, and down below some vague assumption of a self-feeling. The arrows are showing the communication channels and the directions in which thoughts, impulses, intuitions, and feelings flow. Here our awareness is associated with our mind and is indeed a product of brain and body functions. Also recognize the existence of a subconscious, which is separated from our everyday awareness by a filter F, that censors communications between conscious and subconscious levels. Thoughts and memories that are deemed harmful to our mental health, blocked from our awareness. In this picture, mind, spirit, and psyche are considered synonymous. It is interesting, in my mother language, in German, there is only one word, the same word for spirit as it is for mind. They don't distinguish between the two. And for ghost even. So the English language is actually more descriptive and, in my opinion, more precise.
People say 6 words, and each one is different.
Yeah, each one is different. Right? Inner impulses and intuitions are the blue arrows, which generally remain in the subconscious and have to take a detour through our emotions and feelings to be recognized by the ego mind. In the general understanding of the public, the spiritual aspects of life and consciousness are relegated to experiences found in churches, synagogues, temples, and monasteries. However, once we accept spirit as an essential part of reality, our worldview takes on a much more comprehensive perspective of body, mind, and spirit relationships as depicted here. In this schematic, within the white oval, are depicted the spiritual and mental interconnections and pathways within a human being, and spiritual aspects are on the left side and the mental ones on the right. The violet background depicts the planetary collective conscious, known also as the noosphere. Also surrounding the human spirit and mind is a cosmic superconscious, and I will return to these later. Remember that spirit is omnipresent. It is in every cell of every life form. All life forms are spiritually connected with each other via the cosmic superconsciousness of the infinite intelligence. Note that spiritual consciousness and the physical awareness each have their own subconscious level. Our spiritual subconscious is a small lagoon connected to the ocean of the cosmic consciousness. Both subconscious levels are also in close contact with the essential self and our divine inner being, which is primarily spiritual in nature. This intelligent self is who we are. Again, the arrows show the pathways of thoughts in orange and intuitive impulses in blue. There are 2 filters for each type of consciousness. The filters FS and FM censor communications between conscious and subconscious levels. Impulses flowing through the filter, the spiritual filter FS, are controlled by the essential self. It decides if they should be passed or blocked, depending on whether they aid or interfere with a person's spiritual mission in life. Thoughts, sensory knowledge, and memories pass between the physical subconscious and the physical awareness via filter FM are also controlled by the essential self for protecting the physical and mental health of the body. Because spirit, mind, and body functions as a unit, our spiritual consciousness and our physical awareness can also communicate with each other through our emotions and feelings, bypassing the filters as indicated in the diagram. Spirit talks to us through our emotions and feelings. Note that the human spirit is depicted by a star-shaped pattern because it reaches out to all other spirit forms and to the Omniversal Spirit. Spirit has no boundaries in space or time. As we are normally present in our ego mind, your physical awareness, we are oblivious to all the spiritual and subconscious communications going on. Through the practice of meditation, we can, however, wrest control away from our mind and refocus our awareness into our spiritual consciousness. In that state, we can, in this practice, communicate with other individual spirits and also access the Akashic record, or the Akashic Chronicles, as it is also termed, which serve as a spiritual memory bank in our planetary noosphere. So what is the Akasha? Swami Vivekananda, who was a good friend of Nikola Tesla, described it this way. All perceptible matter comes from a primary tenuity beyond conception, filling all space, the Akasha, which is acted upon by a life-giving creative force, prana, calling into existence all things and phenomena. The Akasha is cosmic in extent. It is identical, in my view here, with the spiritual realm. I call it the absolute. The scientists would call it the zero-point field or the quantum vacuum energy field. And it may also be the morphogenetic field that Rothe talks about. And it is not identified as the luminiferous ether that Maxwell needed to explain how electromagnetic waves can pass through a vacuum. The Akashic record is planetary. It is a spiritual memory bank, as it goes back to a Vedic philosophy. It is a collective unconscious that Carl Jung talked about, and it is a noosphere that Vladimir Vernadsky or Taylor Deschardin talk about, and it may be the Gaia consciousness of James Lovelock. Remember that the creative power of the spirit is prana, is the life force. The Akasha is a non-material, implicit, fluid, high-energy plenum, filling all space and permeating all matter. And the Akasha is cosmic in extent. Let us now discuss the objective relationships between spirit and matter that make up reality. I will define what I mean by omniverse, the universe, and the spirit realm. The universe, in a continuous process of creation, is crystallizing out of the spirit realm, or the absolutum as I call it. Together, they make up the omniverse. The physical universe is a material expression of the omniversal spirit of creation. The universe evolves gradually in contradistinction from the instantaneous creation myth of the Big Bang cosmology, with its devolution toward the cosmic entropy death. Now, our universe is not a closed system, hence the law of increasing entropy does not apply to it. New energy contrasts are constantly created in the universe by processes induced from the spirit realm of the omniverse. Hence, the universe can evolve to ever higher levels of perfection and not devolve as predicted by present cosmologies. The omniverse consists of these energy domains. One is a basic spirit realm, the magical realm of spontaneous creation, and two is a physical realm, which we call the universe, and that consists of 2A, the electromagnetic and subatomic quantum domain, and 2B, the material domain of atoms, things, and everything else. The spirit realm is the AKASHA, the magical non-material domain that underlies and penetrates all space and matter. It must be considered fundamental and eternal. It is a source of time and space. Everyday physical experiences take place in levels 2B and to some extent in 2A. The three domains are never separate. They form a harmonious whole. In my worldview, the schematic of these fundamental energy domains can be as shown here. Here we depict the material domain of matter as being embedded in the electromagnetic ether, which in turn is embedded in the cosmic AKASHA, which I also describe as the absolutum or the spirit realm. The omniverse consists of all that is. The physical universe consists of the material world, made of atoms, things, physical beings, planets, stars, and galaxies, and also contains the subatomic quantum world and the electromagnetic ether that we perceive as a vacuum space. Time and space are the most basic independent variables for all activity and change occurring throughout the three domains of existence. Time and space come into our reality through the presence of the cosmic AKASHA. Time and space are fundamental, need no explanation. Like life is, we can also say time is, and space is, because they originate in the cosmic AKASHA and are most fundamental. Our physical sciences cannot really explain what they are. Time has been a mystery forever and still is. The electromagnetic ether can be considered the interface between the material domain and the spirit domain. The electromagnetic ether can also be considered to consist of a sea of electrons and positons, as Paul Dirac expressed it in 1928. I consider the electron as the most fundamental energy form and as a building block of atoms and the material world. The electron is not a separate material particle in a normal sense, but is an integral configuration like a vortex of the underlying ultrafine medium of the absolutum. The absolutum or AKASHA in turn may be composed of infinitesimally small energy units of essentially zero mass. These energy units, which may be called cosmons, are strongly bound to each other and measure an estimated 10 to the minus 31 meter in size, the so-called Planck lengths. Vibrational waves and other signals can pass through such a medium at near infinite speed, contrary to Einstein's claim that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, of 300,000 kilometers per second. Certain signals can appear to traverse inconceivable distances instantaneously. Two types of such signals are telepathy and gravitation. Einstein would call these phenomena spooky non-local quantum entanglements. Now, telepathy is holistic and non-local in nature. Those of you who have experienced perceiving such telepathic messages will know that they come as intuitive feelings or entire images or mental concepts. You may have experienced such a telepathic message coming from a dear relative in Australia, 20,000 kilometers away, when that person was in dire distress at the exact microsecond it happened. Or you may get an impulse to call your brother in South Africa. You pick up the phone and he is already on the line before you can dial the number. So there must have been a very fast telepathic message. Some experienced remote viewers can obtain detailed psychic images of faraway events at the moment they happen. And some spiritualists claim that they have telepathic interchanges with beings in other star systems, hundreds of light years away. Now this is impossible if communication signals travel only at the speed of light through the electromagnetic ether of space. All these mysteries can be resolved if telepathic signals travel at hyperluminal speeds through the Akashic medium. I believe that interstellar travel can become practical only if it is a form of teleportation, where an object is dematerialized into information bits that are transmitted almost instantaneously through the Absolute or the Akasha to another star system and rematerialized there. This may be the way how extraterrestrials, UFOs are coming here. Telepathic transmissions of thought occur through this spiritual domain, or Akasha, and have been shown to be essentially instantaneous and independent of distance between sender and receiver. Similarly, gravitational action at a distance between massive objects appear to take place via the Absolute, or Akasha. Astrophysicist and cosmologist Tom van Vlaanderen conclusively determined that the speed of gravity must be over 20 billion times the speed of light. He derives this amazing conclusion by analyzing gravitational interactions in planetary systems, in binary stars, and binary pulsars. Orbits of stars and planets could not be stable over periods of millions of years if changes in gravitational fields would propagate only at the speed of light. My own estimate of the signal speed through the Absolute is 6 times 10 to the 21 times the speed of light. And I can discuss it another time with you. At that speed, signals can traverse the entire knowable universe 5,000 times a second, giving an indication of how the spirit of creation can be omnipresent from moment to moment. The mere possibility that communication signals and other disturbances in the medium of the Absolute can travel at these speeds has monumental implications for our worldview, our belief systems, and our technological potentialities. Greater understanding of mysterious processes and enigmas in physics, cosmology, archaeology, ufology, religion, and spirituality could result from such knowledge. I will leave you with a poem that I composed 10 years ago, which summarizes my spiritual beliefs. It is called Spirit Speaks. Spirit speaks. When you ponder and reflect upon the grandeur of creation and stand in awe of it, and when you're silent, then the infinite will speak. No, my beloved, you are a part of me. All that you do, I feel. All that I am, you also are. I have no special form or name, for I am all. Through all that is, including you, my power flows. So go within for finding me. Become receptive to my gifts and know all that I have is yours. Seek and find wisdom, beauty, harmony, and strive to live in tune with my immutable, eternal laws. So you may share my love and joy for you. Avoid confounding me with sky gods, you will hear. They also are my children, subject to my laws. I made them long ago, for guiding you with wise and just advice. I am spirit, so are you. The boundless cosmos that your eyes perceive is but a facet of my timeless unfold. It is a gift to you and to myself. Explore it, so you can better know yourself through me. Be generous, compassionate, and live in joy. It is your birthright and my fondest wish. Life, the fountainhead of my unfolding, is longing to commune with you. Embrace it and revere the Spirit in all living things. Thus you will honor me.